All right. Good morning. Um, Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in Visalia, California. Today is June 18th, 2023, and it's a beautiful day outside. So, welcome. We got some service for you. Hopefully, we'll lighten your heart and get your week started. And I'm a board member of the center, and I'm hosting this morning. And we're going to get ready to go into meditation, and we'll be back at 10:15 um, to continue the service. So today's affirmation is: calmness accompanies me every single moment of my life. Again, calm, calmness accompanies me every single moment of my life. So that will be your meditation this morning, and we will be back at 10:15. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Well, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that meditation with Kevin's background piano music. That was beautiful. Okay. Now it's time for our meet and greet session. And for those of you on Facebook and YouTube, we're going to present some slides for you of inspiration, information about the center, the goings on, and the events. And we will be back at 10:30 to start the service. Thank you. Good morning. We are ready to start services. I guess everybody is getting into position before we start. We're going to get some music started here, and we've got want to always introduce the band, our great band we have here. We're so blessed to have, and our vocalists. We got Philip Santillan on bass. We got Joe Lizama on drums. That's a tongue twister, Joe. And we got Kevin, our music director, and on piano, Kevin Escobar. And we got our vocalist, Hope Garcia. So we're ready to go. So take it away, band.
Making your way in the road today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Hold on, sorry, we've got a little issue here with this thing falling on me. This is rare that something happens like that, but rather than try and get this clown show to work out, we're just going to stop. Okay, let's give it another shot. Making your way in the road today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? All those nights when you got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail, and your third fiancé didn't show. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed, Mr. Coffee's dead. The morning's looking bright. And your shrink ran off to Europe and didn't even write. And your husband wants to be a girl. Glad there's one place in the world where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Thank you, guys. That was great. Okay. I guess to start off here, we're going to have Donna come down and do some announcements. So it looks like we caught her by surprise. So I was supposed to delay? Or, well, oh, okay. I jumped the gun.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Happy Father's Day. Happy almost Juneteenth. And we have a very small but mighty group here today. So let's talk about what's going on. So today we have a board meeting, 12 o'clock. Yay! Sheila says hooray. Sheila's our board president, and she's always excited about board meetings. we'll be talking about lots of things like getting our air conditioning and other things. So if you want to come and hear what's going on, we're on Source. You're welcome to come in either on Zoom or we'll be right here at noon. So now the next one is the Source. So we've been collecting little items up here in the front because the Source, takes in people and helps people who maybe have been kicked out of their home because of their sexual orientation, or they're homeless, they have other problems. And so Bev has asked us to collect whatever we can get for them. So they need hygiene products mostly. And if you can bring them, we'll have this here through June. So bring just products that you can for them, and we'll take it over to them. If you want to just write a check to the Source, they'll take that too. And let's talk SOM. We've been talking about this for a long time now. It's finally going to start next week. So next week there won't be any meditation. We will start in the conference room right here on the main floor at 9:45. We'll be Zooming in with Reverend Nan, and we'll be talking about concepts of SOM. This is something that you ask in our meetings, to do something like this. It's something like a Sunday school. And so we hope that you'll come in for that, 9:45 to 10:15. Then we'll have our regular meet and greet and move into the sanctuary. And we'll have our regular meeting and our service after that. So remember, no meditation next week. And we will start SOM, and let's have a mighty group coming in for it. And one more, Juneteenth. We're celebrating Juneteenth tomorrow, which is the actual day of Juneteenth, the day that Texas finally learned that the enslaved people were free 2.5 years after it actually happened. So we're going to have a great group here. We've been working with people from the multicultural group over at Arts Visalia, and we're going to have gospel music. We're going to have drumming by both Buddy and by Tino. So we'll have Native American and we'll have African drumming. We'll have some information about what Juneteenth is all about. Buddy is going to talk about his grandmother who was born a slave, and the quilt that she made that is sort of special to him. And then we'll adjourn outside, and it's supposed to be cooler tomorrow, and we will have food. So we hope you'll all come, 6 o'clock tomorrow. It'll be great. We want to fill the place with multicultural people to celebrate this special day. And it's going to be live streamed. Thank you, Sheila. So you can come in on the regular live stream that you might be in today, and you can see it that way too. So now I will turn it over to Reverend Nan.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Donna, for that introduction. And it's time for our inclusivity quote. Now, I do want to encourage everybody to really get to the Juneteenth celebration tomorrow night at the center. It's going to be amazing. And in case you're out of town or you're not feeling well, it will be live streamed, as Donna mentioned, so you can't be here in person. And I definitely wish I could be here for this one. You can watch it from wherever you are. And also the video recording will be available on our Facebook and page and our YouTube channel. So just like our Sunday services, it'll be there for you. Now, in keeping with our ordinary events on our service, our inclusivity quote this week was selected by Carol Greening. And it's a quote from Eckhart Tolle. And the quote is, "Pleasure is always derived from something outside you, whereas joy arises from within." And we'll be talking a little bit about pleasure and joy as we go into my message today. So now I would like to turn it over to our wonderful virtual practitioner from Barbados, Sonia Hart, and she's going to do our affirmation and opening prayer. Sonia, it's all yours.
Good morning, and thank you, Reverend Nan. Today's affirmation is, calmness accompanies me every single moment of my life. Calmness accompanies me every single moment of life. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes if that's what you're comfortable with as we go into our opening treatment. There's only one source, and that source we call God, we call the universe. And that source is always. That source is calm. It is the calm. It is the peace. That source is harmony. I am one with that source. I am calmness. I am peace. And I am harmony. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and everyone present here today, that you too are made in the likeness and image of the source that we call God, and therefore you are the calmness. You are that peace. You are that harmony. You are the balance. And so I speak my word, knowing only calmness is at the core of my being. Only calmness is at the core of the being of everyone who's present here today. And as we fall into this calm and surrender to the calm that is, I am knowing for each and every one that life is good. Life is peaceful. Life is calm. I am knowing that no matter what appears on the surface, that as we go deeper and deeper into the consciousness, calmness, we reside in that calmness. Because that's all there is only calmness, because there's only God. And so I give thanks with a grateful heart for the calm that is. And so I release this word to the Lord, knowing that it is done, and so it is. Thank you so much. And now it's time for some music.
All right, we invite you to sing along with us. Lyrics will be here on the screen. This is a fun one, so I hope everyone joins along with us. Everyone knows this one. Come on. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. There we go. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. When you're crying, you bring on the rain. So stop your sighing and be happy again. Come on. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Let's try that again. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain. So stop your sighing, be happy again. I see you, Dino. Stop smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Hey, all right.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I bet y'all are smiling right now. I know that I am. You know, here's Father's Day today. I bet you there's a whole lot of dads that are smiling because they're getting special treatment. And I do send happy Father's Day greetings to everyone who's a father, regardless of gender or biology. You know, many people have taken the place of or supported kids in a father role. And as the saying goes, anyone can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad. And I think there are a lot of dads out there in the world who are very special people. And there's a little segment of history here about Father's Day I want to share with you. The fathers of the United States have a woman, Sonora Smart Dodd of Spokane, Washington, to thank for Father's Day. In 1910, Sonora worked hard to establish an equivalent to Mother's Day for dads. She went to churches, the YMCA, shopkeepers, and government officials to drum up support for her idea. And she succeeded. Washington State celebrated the nation's first statewide Father's Day on June 19th, 1910. It became a national holiday in 1972. So everyone celebrating Father's Day today can thank Sonora for her persistence and commitment to honoring them. Now, this week, we continue our consideration of embracing self-care. The past 2 weeks, we've talked about various aspects and the value of self-care. And today, one of those aspects is pleasure, and that's my talk title. I think the term pleasure gets a bad rap in our general ideologies of behavior and self-care. There's a lot of conflict, and much of that starts with the phrase that I know we've all heard, guilty pleasure. I remember a TV ad for an upscale brand of chocolates that presented their product as a guilty pleasure that a person could unwrap and indulge in and feel a moment's sensual luxury with their candy. However, even though we tend to be a guilt-ridden culture, according to the Oxford Dictionary, pleasure is defined in several ways. The first of which is a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment. It can also be used to describe enjoyment and entertainment, contrasted with things done out of necessity. Now, there's a separation from the routine and mundane. I definitely enjoy being entertained at a casino playing slots with my $20, and I can say that it is definitely pleasurable when all those little things come on the lines together and I win some kind of a jackpot, even if it's only $1. Now, again from the dictionary, it can also refer to an event or activity from which one derives enjoyment. And I think most events and activities that we have at the center provide enjoyment for those who attend. Finally, it can also refer to sensual gratification. And there is a difference between sensual and sexual gratification. Neither is better or worse than the other. They just create different experiences. Sensual, related to our senses of touch, taste, or smell, can be exquisitely pleasurable and not include sexual activity. Sexual activity can be incredibly pleasurable, but may not be sensual. But that first definition of feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment is really pleasure in its most inclusive form. We can notice and appreciate those moments of pleasure all throughout our day. Pleasure is a pleasant emotion of contentment felt deep within because of an event that builds positive feelings. It's the opposite of grief and sadness, and often a wave of calmness washes over the body when it's felt, providing the peace and of mind that and the calm that Sonia mentioned in her treatment. I can speak from my own experience that when I complete a presentation, a report, or even washing dishes, I feel pleasure with the final result. It's a momentary thing, but I feel it. And I do have that sense of calm and peace, even if it's only for the moment until I move to the next task. And I think those of us with critters, whatever they may be, cats, dogs, birds, fish, we can find a lot of pleasure in playing with them or grooming them. Perhaps even walking them outside, taking them out, whether they're cats or not, or dogs. You know, my son has cats. He's got 2 cats now. And they go out on the lanai and spend a lot of time out there with my son and his wife. And there's a neighbor that they have who walks the cat. It's an interesting thing to see. And I've seen cat walkers before. It's very interesting. Anyway, we know there are therapy dogs that are raised just for the purpose of having interactions with others. that bring pleasure, peace, joy, and even promote healing on many levels. They're found so often in skilled nursing facilities, assisted living centers, prisons, and many other facilities. A chaplain friend of mine always took their dog on visits around the care center at which she served as she called on different residents. And they're there just because they bring pleasure to the folks with whom they interact. Most certainly, we can feel pleasure watching babies and little children explore life. Their unbridled innocence and their experience of pleasure is a great example for all of us. Pleasure is an experience that affects our emotions. When we have calm and peace within our mind, it's a lot easier to experience greater pleasure. Calmness and peace are difficult to achieve with a mind filled with turbulence, anger, and irritation. And our spiritual practices can increase the moments of pleasure we have throughout the day. Now, that might sound strange, but I find that when I need a moment of peace, I can turn to contemplative reading of sacred scripture, whatever I may choose. And sometimes I like Holmes books, sometimes the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes the Quran, or it might be writings of the mystics like Rumi and Hafiz. But I always find something that changes that channel, so to speak, from disturbance to peace or calm. It may even be inspirational, which I also find to be very peaceful. It might be a time that I simply switch to being the observer of what's happening that's creating discord for me. Now, we've discussed before the value in experiencing our emotions non-judgmentally as observers and allowing the feelings and sensations to move through us rather than holding on to emotional distress. Hanging on to our distress is a sure way to create emotional congestion. Yeah, think of when the rains come in a wildfire burn scar area. There's no ground cover to deter the water, and the rivers swell, and with great fury they can carry logs and debris that creates big log jams that flood the surrounding land. That's similar to how our emotional congestion may also occur. And congestion of emotions is detrimental. You know, emotions don't exist to be stifled down or pushed down and accumulated. We don't bank them. That's not really relevant, and it's not useful to us. If we examine the word, they are energy in motion, emotion. They're meant to move. And they exist to express our humanness. Sometimes we don't like to know about that, but that's what they do. And when emotions are repressed for a long time, that's what leads to congestion. When we live in constantly conflicted emotional states, we inhibit our heart's desires from thriving in every area of our life. Awareness of the very sources of our emotion is a great contributor to our spiritual evolution. For many of us, me included, some of the messages we've received about pleasure were linked with self-worth, guilt, and the idea that pleasure was a bad thing to be avoided at all costs. Or it was something you could buy only if you had enough money, power, or fame. Now, it often seemed like even the pleasures for which one worked really hard were still unattainable by ordinary folks. I tried really hard, but I never did get a Mercedes-Benz, and I thought it would bring me pleasure, but in the end, it really didn't matter. By recognizing and honoring our emotions, releasing those reactive emotions that no longer serve us, and choosing life-affirming emotional perspectives, we create more pleasant life experiences for ourselves and others. Pleasure gets easier to feel every time we make a choice to feel it. Every time we make a choice to do so, to turn to pleasure and recognize it in a moment. As we exercise and flex our pleasant choice muscle, we cultivate and build our own pleasant personality. As Dr. Holmes, our founder, noted in the Science of Mind text, anyone wishing to develop a pleasant personality must first become pleasant and think comforting thoughts. There's a thought, huh? When we're open to being pleasant, we provide the opportunity for our mind, body, and spirit to grow and attract beautiful feelings that are so essential to our well-being. Cultivating pleasant feelings may definitely be more challenging when we're ill or cranky, crabby, tired, or just plain ticked off about something. The conditions of the world we live in can stimulate any or all of those regularly, I think. Yet, the more we actively choose peace and calm, the more opportunities we have to enjoy the pleasures of life. You know, Abraham Maslow noted that the most fortunate are those who have a wonderful capacity to appreciate again and again, freshly and naively, the basic goods of life with awe, pleasure, wonder, and even ecstasy. Ecstasy, huh? I don't know how many of us really got an honest education in the simple pleasures of life. When I was a kid growing up, going to the Dairy Queen with my grandparents rather, in the summer was a pretty simple pleasure. And it was especially wonderful and enjoyable because it was a summer thing. We didn't do it all year round. The simple act of caring for oneself is a pleasant act. If you practice self-care without the feeling of pleasure, it can be incomplete. If we deny ourselves self-care out of this misconception that we are not worthy of it, that we should put everybody first, we get into some sticky territory there. And you know, I know for myself, and I bet many of you can agree with this, or at least identify with it, we can make all sorts of excuses and reasons for not taking care of ourselves first. There's always something, one more thing that we could do instead of something for us to be okay. It's a bit difficult to find pleasure in self-care if we feel guilty about taking time for ourselves or putting our health and well-being first. Yet, the culmination of self-care is pleasure, and vice versa. The pleasant and nice feelings don't come from any outside source. The source of joy and pleasure can only be found within as we align ourselves with the divinity that lies within us. From the Essential Ernest Holmes, Dr. Holmes wrote this: "Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with this invisible life, finding such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes." Now this is where our spiritual practices really come to the forefront. And I want to read that quote again because I think it's so incredibly important. Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with this invisible life, finding such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes. Now, I don't think we can have conscious union with the inward wholeness if we're always running around spending time avoiding turning within and having that time with the divinity within us. And did you notice that all fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanish when we're in the unified field of wholeness? Now, I think those three, fear, doubt, and uncertainty, are the greatest deterrents to peace, calm, and pleasure. They create a false sense of separation from the love of Source that is always available to us. And what is more soothing and pleasurable than to know we are loved? You know, we're loved by that infinite loving presence that created us just the way that we are and just the way that we are not. And some of the most pleasurable moments of the day can be found in meditation and quiet contemplation. I like this quote from the Muslim scripture, this Muslim sacred scripture, the Quran. "For those who believe and whose hearts find satisfaction in the remembrance of God is inward joy and a beautiful place of return." Isn't that a beautiful statement? One of the most effective and simple of our spiritual practices is gratitude. And gratitude is our demonstration of love for all the good, all the pleasure that we have in our life experience. We live in a reciprocal universe. As we give or express our love to Source through our gratitude practice, which is most pleasurable, we must receive more of it as we open to allow it to flow into and through our lives. That receiving of love from our source is also a pleasure, and it's beyond a worldly value, I find. And we find those gifts of love, what I call blessings, those gifts of love from the divine, wherever we look, if our hearts and eyes are open to pleasure. Through self-awareness of the mind, body, and spirit, we can realize that we are perfect, unique expressions of the divine, and that pleasure is a part of our spiritual DNA. It's not something that we put in the closet and say, oh, no, we can't have that. We don't want to know about it. Mm-mm-mm. Our spiritual principle of love states that love is the self-givingness of universal spirit through its desire to express itself in terms of creation. And our terms of creation here on this planet are physical. Spirit experiences all aspects of life through and as each of us. And that most definitely includes peace, calm, and that first definition of pleasure that I mentioned as a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment. So I invite each of us this week to be open to and be aware of the broad spectrum of pleasures in our lives. To paraphrase Spock, live long and with pleasure. And so it is. And now with great pleasure, I offer this prayer just to put a little cap on that message. So as we come together in the presence of the One, in the presence of love and joy and peace and pleasure, I know that that infinite presence moves in and through every life. It is all that we are. We are not all that it is, but it is everything that we are to the extent to which we become aware of it, in us, as us, and through us. I know that it is love. I know that it is peace, power, beauty, joy, harmony, and compassion. And I know that it is pleasure. And so I speak this word knowing that all of these things are the birthright of every being around this planet. And it is sure to be found by everyone who opens their eyes, who becomes aware to see and feel the joy and pleasure of life. And I know that for those individuals, for example, I send a special blessing to the folks in Texas who just experienced the tornado. I know for those people there in those devastating circumstances and other devastation around the world, that spirit of love, that the spirit of compassion, that the spirit of peace and strength is there to lift them up through these times. And so I bless each of them. I bless the people who are not yet free in this world. I bless the people knowing that every person will be free from discord, emancipated from discord of every kind, and that everyone is sure to attain this goal, as our what we believe statement from such a long time ago says. And as we celebrate Juneteenth tomorrow, I know that it is a symbol, an activity, and an event that represents the blessings of good that are sure to be and to continue to come for all people. And so as I speak this word, I just give great thanks. I give thanks that we can meet in freedom, that we can discuss these spiritual concepts and beliefs and ideas and philosophy. I give thanks for all the hearts that are open to serve in so many ways and do so with great love and joy in their hearts. And for this and so much more, I bless each and every person in this service, whoever watches this, whenever that may happen, and anyone, anywhere. Everywhere, I bless each and every creation, knowing that love always prevails. And as I release this word directly into the law, I know it's always said, yes, yes, my beloveds, because it's already done. And together we may affirm it by saying, and so it is. And now we're going to have a little more music from our fabulous band. So I'm going to turn it over to you all.
before and never since. I promise, will the whole world be as one as this? No, it's true that you are blessed and lucky. It's true that you are touched by something that will grow in you, in you. These are days you remember, when May is rushing over you with desire to be part of the miracles you see. In every hour, you know it's true that you are blessed and lucky. It's true that you are touched by something that will grow in you, in you. These are days. These are the days you might fill with laughter till you break. These days you might feel a shaft of light make its way across your face, and when you do, you know how it was meant to be. See the signs and all their meaning. It's true. You know how it was meant to be. Hear the signs and all they're speaking to you, to you. Oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. These are the days.
That was just wonderful. Thank you, Hope, Kevin, Joe, Phil. That was fabulous. Thank you so much. And now it's time for our conscious giving affirmation. So get your gift and take it into your hand. Get ready to bless it with this conscious giving affirmation. We're going to get it up on the screen for you so that you can read it. And as you take this gift in your hands, you can put it close to your heart, and you can repeat with me or after me. Oh, I feel great pleasure as I share my prosperity with love and joy. Now, let's do that one more time with feeling. Like you're feeling the pleasure all the way through you. I feel great pleasure as I share my prosperity with love and joy. And now the ushers could collect the gifts. And as you do so, I just want to remind everybody out in the virtual community that you can send your gift. You can either donate over the website just by going to www.cslvisalia.org and hit the donate button, or you can send it in by check, money order. Don't send cash. That's a little dicey these days. But you can send it to Center for Spiritual Living Visalia, 117 South Locust Street, Visalia, California, 93291. And these gifts are so vital to us. They're magnificent, they're wonderful, and they keep our center going. And I say to you that every time we give, we receive so much back again. So I can't encourage you enough and give enough thanks to everyone who gives so freely and keeps us going. You are a blessing, not only to this center, but to the world. And so now I would like to bless these gifts. And I do so by saying, through the love of pure spirit, these gifts have come forward from all of these cherished beings who support this center. I know they do good work in our center, good work in our community, and good work in our world. And I bless them with gratitude, and so it is. And I want to give you a reminder as you get ready to get around and come together to sing the peace song. I want to remind you about the Science of Mind chat that Donna talked about earlier in the announcements. That's going to be next week. There's not going to be any meditation. We've discontinued that for a while. We're going to see how this kind of adult Sunday school event happens for a little while now, and we'll get it kicked off next week. It'll be live in the sanctuary from 9:45 to 10:15, and you'll also be able to come in on Zoom if you're not in Visalia or if you don't feel well and you can't get to the center. It's our hope that people will come together for this at the center if it's possible, because it gives you an opportunity, if you're in town there, that you can be together before the meet and greet time at 10:15. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. The information will come out again in a newsletter, and you'll be able to just pop in on Zoom or be there next Sunday. So now it's time for our peace song. And if you're all in a circle there,
Now there is peace on earth. I know it begins with me. Now there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
and now it's time for our benediction. Are you ready?
Ready.
So I know that you know this. So if you're ready, let's say with me, something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Now, life is in my mind,
Life is in my mind.
and life is in my body,
Life is in my body.
and it's in the body of my affairs.
And it's in
I think it.
I think it.
And I feel it.
And I feel it.
And oh, do I love it.
And oh, do I love it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is not.
And just the way that it is not.
And together we can say, thank you, life.
Thank you, life. Woo.
All right, my friends. I will see you next time. Same bat channel, same bat station.